Good morning, Michelle at Crafty Servants. Turn this down a little. Oh. How y'all doing? We're painting a rustic style. Oh, I gotta turn. All right, I think my sound is gonna be better now. Come say hi, let me know you're out there. This is gonna be a long live. I'm warning you right from the beginning because it takes more than just one coat of paint to paint one of these. And we're making them rustic style. So once we get all the paint on, it doesn't take long. Buddy's gonna be really, really cute. Let me just see if I can pull up my comments. And I can do that. Good morning, Susan and Kathy. Thank you for passing me on, Susan. I appreciate that. Hello, Deborah. So this is the white snowman I picked up. I did a live from Hobby Lobby this weekend. And I'm trying to think. Oh, I am so sorry. Somebody put a post in the comments wondering if we saw these. And I was only 2 minutes from Hobby Lobby, so I thought I'd run over there. I'd like to say her name was Sue. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm terrible with remembering names. But she knows who she is, and I know I posted in a picture or in my video. I just said in my video who said about it. So these were at Hobby Lobby. They are $11.99, I believe. $11.99, and then they're 50% off. Okay, so they're a really good deal. We can make them super, super cute. Did you finish your Santa? Awesome. Hello, Sharon from the UK. All right, so I'm just going to set this down, get a drink of coffee, and we're going to start it right away because, like I said, it's going to be a long live. I'm telling you, probably it's going to be a long one. Thank you for passing me on, Kathy. All right, first color is vintage white, folk art vintage white. Just pour it out of here, I think. You bought these? Awesome. Little brush out. Okay. So in here, there's a little spot here that should be the body. I'm just gonna grab a smaller brush, and we're gonna add in there right away. Let's see if I can bring you in down a little. We're gonna add that in there right away with a smaller brush. It's okay if you get on these other areas. I am not by no means getting exactly where it needs to be, but it's going to be covered as we go. All right, honestly, I think that's the only spot that needs that little area. Good morning, Val. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and start painting on them. So we're painting the face. And again, this is folk art vintage white. Any white will do. And if you don't like a vintage look or an old look, you can change it up. I am using dark wax again at the end, and that makes him look old, but so cute. Especially because there's so much detail in here that you can use. And the wax, you won't even notice that much on the hat because of what I'm doing. You won't even notice much of the wax there, but you will in other places. Okay, and we're going to end up giving it 2 coats. Now, I should say, so before I started, so yesterday I did this, I primed them all. And I used the Dixie Belle Bonding Boss. Okay, this is a 16-ounce jar. You can get them in 8-ounce jars. And I think that's the post I did yesterday was 8-ounce jars. Mine is white. You can get them as clear. That doesn't matter. You can get it as gray. You just maybe need extra coats when you do it as gray. But I think the link I did yesterday, she might be out right now, of the white and the clear. But like I said, it would just take extra coats. And the reason why a lot of people ask, do you need to use it? That's on you. I like using it when it's a shiny surface. The paint comes off easier, and we're going to be scrubbing on her with wax, with a blending brush. I just don't want to take the chance of it coming off. And it's just a good primer on the bottom. And there are other kinds. Somebody mentioned a different kind this weekend. I don't remember what kind. There's other kinds. Whatever your preference is, that's fine. This is what I have, so it's what I use. And it works really well. I had debated on doing this as a coat on him. I decided against it. We're just using, these are the Snowman arms, so we're painting it all the same. It would be really cute, though, doing it as a coat also. Awesome, Gloria. Good morning, Kathy. Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad I answered your question. And it just paints on really nice. Like I said, I know there's others out there. I haven't used others, so I can't say how they work. But I'm sure there's other people that have used other things. Some people just make sure they use chalk paint. And I just want to make sure, and that's why I do it like this. I love this color. Okay, and then we got these little buttons here. If you get some on the button, not a big deal. It'll be covered. Just want to get this base coat on. Oh, thank you, Cheryl Ann. I appreciate that. Kathy, I'm good. I feel like my allergies are really acting up. I hope I'm not getting a cold. I don't think I am, just by my symptoms and stuff. I think it's just the allergies. And so I took some allergy medicine earlier. I might have to get up and blow my nose. TMI, but you get me here. That's what it is. At least I'm not using jute today. If you follow me for a while and I use jute, it's not always so pleasant, but I love using jute. I get real itchy from jute. I'm not worrying about painting the bottom either. I'm not seeing that. I don't mind that the bottom's not painted. So the one thing I should say about these, I don't know if they're ceramic or if they're resin. I'm guessing ceramic maybe, but they're very thin. Okay, they're very thin. They probably would break very easily. So you have to be gentle with it. Even especially when I'm going to be painting the nose and waxing on things, I'm going to be extra gentle just because I don't want to break anything off. So it is extra thin, or I feel it's extra thin just because it's so light. So I'm pretty sure it's very thin. All right, let's just dry him up. And then we'll add the other coat right away. Good morning, Denise. Does this work better than chalk paint for a base coat? Sue, I can't answer to that. I have used chalk paint before, and I've done it on shiny surfaces. So whether it works better, I don't know. I can't answer that. I'm sorry. I hope you all like rustic style because this one's gonna be pretty and rustic. It's gonna be pretty. It's my favorite thing to do. Oh, that sounds nice, Karen. Yes, absolutely. You do not need to antique these. And honestly, so the dark antique wax that I'm using also is a sealer, okay? So when you put it on, you're not only antiquing it, you're sealing it, but you can get clear wax. If you want it sealed, but you don't want the dark wax, you can use a clear wax. And I'll show you what kind of wax I use when I get to that. It'll be a while though. Like I said, this is a long live, but I love that you all are commenting. I appreciate that at the end of my live. Maybe if I remember, I'll do it in the middle of my live. I'll draw a random act of kindness drawing. I always do that at the end of my lives. I scroll people who comment, so you got to comment to be included. Hello, Norma. Hello, Yvonne. Yvonne from Southern Designs and Finds. Hello, Kathy. Yes, you love rustic. I know you do. All right. I hope my dryer holds out. Once in a while, it gets temperamental. All right. I'm just going to use, let me find my paper towels. I thought I had everything right here. Of course I don't, but not far. Okay, I'm going to just add that little bit of paint in. Let's get this out of my way. I don't need that anymore. Okay, this little spot here that I painted with just a little fine paintbrush, I'm going to go back in and do that again. How are y'all doing? The comments froze. Yes, absolutely. It's personal preference. How you doing, Dana? Okay. And I did do, when I did those Santas, so everybody seems to know the Santa that I did. I did rustic first, and then I did a second live with them being pink and shiny, pink and shiny, like gems on them. But I did add the antiquing wax yet on him. Now you want to make sure you dry between coats because otherwise you're just going to be pushing the paint around and you're going to see that. Dry between the coats. So you can just do thin coats, but then just dry it between. And 2 coats will be plenty on this snowman. This is acrylic paint. So this is the first color. So the first color of acrylic paint that I'm using is Folk Art Vintage White. You can get in small bottles too. I do have a small bottle of it, but I didn't want to run out. That bottle's getting low. So yep, just plain acrylic paint. Choose whatever you like though. I actually have an order coming in today that will have some new type of paints that I have not used before. So, and they're really pretty colors. So I'm anxious to try. Okay. This bottle just had a lot of stuff on it, so I'm getting pieces of it as I'm painting. I gotta take off. But it goes on so nice. So like I said, even if you don't use the bonding floss, I would at least use some kind of primer. Just gives a really smooth base too. might have to put a little more out. Yeah, this one you only need 2 coats, but I know the color I'm going to be using on the scarf, I think I'm going to need 3. So that's why this takes longer. It's just because you have to give it additional coats. And again, it's okay if you get it on the buttons. Not a problem. That'll be covered. Okay. Oh, awesome, Jill. Those bees were so, those bees were so fun. That was almost a big mess, y'all. Did they, Yvonne? They, honestly, everybody's telling me they're selling out. So I feel like, you know, maybe I had just like a tiny little part of that. And it's sort of a cool feeling, but that was my moment in a day, just to have a little part of that. But it was fun. I did love it so much. And I actually, so somebody had offered to buy the original one, and I struggled with it, but I was going to, so I was going to sell, but they ended up having some issues with bank, and not issues of their own. I mean, they were scammed before, so it ended up not going through. So I've got it here. You all know how I feel about auctions. I'm so nervous doing them, but I might end up doing that because I just don't know. I have so many people that have messaged me about them. Oh, absolutely you could have, Yvonne. I know you could have. All right, I'm just going to dry this a little bit. I don't have to dry it all the way because we'll move on to another color. I actually did one last night of these, so I'm in love with it. I am so in love with it. I hope it turns out as good as the one last night because I do really love it. I don't actually remember all the colors. I got a bunch on my table. Okay, that'll be good. All right, so for the scarf, and I don't know, I've had these colors for a while. I don't know if they're still there, but you know, just get something that you think is close to it, all right? This one is Anitas Woodsy, I thought it said Woodsy Snake, Woodsy Smoke, okay? I'm doing neutrals. I'm doing all neutrals. Hello, Tracy from the UK. Hello, Connie. Thank you. Yeah, Waverly would not work. I really believe Waverly would not work. And like Dana is saying, thank you for answering that, Dana. This wax is petroleum based. So there is a wax, what is that? Dark antique? Oh, a dark antique. I have it here too. I can get that after. There is one that I gotten online that I use a lot, and there's other creators that use that too. Okay, so now I'm going to be painting the scarf, the mittens, and I think I'm going to paint this bag this color, but I'm probably going to lighten it up, just at least the bag. I had thought about putting like a burlap over it, or I also had texture out last night playing with it. You could texture it. I just liked it how I ended up doing it. It doesn't have texture, but it looks sort of cool because I do add some paint to make it look sort of neat. But I thought doing like a burlap bag on here would be really super cute, but I'm not doing that. Okay, like I said, this color is going to take several coats. And then we're going to be using a darker for actual highlighting on him. See, isn't that a pretty color? But by the time we're done, it's going to be not look like that. I pray I don't drop this while I'm doing it. See, there's so much texture in here. That's why when I saw this one too, I was so excited because the texture is what you can do to bring things out when you use the wax. And even, I mean, you'll see on the hat, especially the texture on there, I bring it out just with the paint. And it's easy. It's easy to bring that out. There you go, Karen. Hello, Samantha for Canada. Okay, I'm gonna grab that antique goon. You know what? Let me grab that antique goon wax when I start antiquing. Okay, I'll grab the other one at Chalktique, I think. Is it Chalktique? It's, you get it on Amazon. I used to use it all the time until I started using the bear. There's other, you know who else uses it? I saw her using it one day too, and I thought, well, I do have a jar of that here that I've used many times. Unique uses it. I'm sorry, I can't think of her first name. But that's her page, is Unique. She uses that other kind of wax. It's like, reminds me like of royalty. I don't know why. There's something with royalty in the name, I think. King something? I don't know. See, y'all are giving great tips here. That's awesome. Helping each other out. I said, if you're just hopping on, I warned right at the beginning, this is a long live just because you need multiple coats of paint. I keep working as I'm talking though. Most of the time. Okay, so far I used two colors. The Folk Art Vintage White, and this is Anitas Woodsy Smoke, I think it was that I said. But just be really careful as you're doing this. I can't grab it on the bottom, it's still damp. Just because it is very lightweight and I feel like it'll break very easily. Oh yeah, we're gonna paint the hat this color too, by the way. I said it's not going to, it's gonna be so pretty when it's done though. Hello, Beth. How was your event? I was thinking of you all. Chalktique, that's it, Dana. That's it. It's that Chalktique. That was the other one that I used to use, and it would work just fine. You can get it on Amazon. But I started using the Bonding Boss, and I do like Bonding Boss too. That's what I use now. You have to be exhausted, Beth, after doing events like that. Yeah, I also posted a link for the Bonding Boss yesterday for Julie's Signs and Designs. I put an affiliate link out there yesterday for that. Bonding Boss. I don't know what she has left. I know there were several purchased after that. And hers was 8-ounce jars, and this is a 16. But I can tell you, this jar is almost full yet. And, okay, I feel like I should do, I'm going to dry this up because I need to hold the bottom to paint the hat. She had white and gray and clear, and I think the white and gray were sold, or the white and clear were sold out. But I believe the gray would work. You just have to give maybe extra coats. So, but otherwise, yes, there's a lot of places that have it. Mine is a 16 ounce. And I did like 3 of those Santa heads, and I did 2 of these. I did 2 gnomes and a bigger Santa like this, also a whole Santa. I did all of them, and there's barely anything out. I can open that up and show you all. It's just like white paint. I believe a regular paint primer would work, Kathy. I just know that this does for sure. Okay, so let me show you the Bonding Boss. So I did all of those already. Open it up. If you can see in here, it is almost full yet. It's almost full. It doesn't take much. And I only do 1 coat. This does say you should do, I think, several coats and let it dry in between. I do 1 coat. Okay, so I'm going to paint this hat now. And I'm going to get right in all those textures. That hat has so much texture in it. Yeah, I'm just getting in all those grooves. That's why I'm using a little brush on this. You could use whatever brush works for you. So this is the same color I used on the scarf. If you get any on the face and you need to touch it up later, it's easy enough to do. Charlotte, are you talking about these? No, if you're talking about these, no, these are Hobby Lobby. This Snowman was $11.99 and they're 50% off right now. The Santa that I have been doing that everybody is looking for is Walmart. There's a lot that can't find them. A few people found them now at Walmart, but they're saying that they have them up to $20 now. So I suppose if something goes fast, they will raise the price to make money on it. Look at how pretty. Look at how pretty. Well, here's your new one for your collection, Chris. And you're going to notice some white sticking through in places yet. That'll get covered with extra coats. I do see the green color I'm using too. It's not your bright green. I said these are all neutral colors I'm using. It's a pretty green. And I debated on putting snow on the branches, and I didn't, but you can, is what I decided. Like I said, I played a little last night with one. You found your Santa? They listed on Walmart from 14 and changed up to 19. Yeah, they were originally, when I bought it, I think it was 14, probably $14.90 something. So like almost $15 when I bought the first one. Make sure y'all are saying hi. I love that. You know, that helps Facebook know that people are watching. And honestly, at the end, you know what? We're going to do 3 of them this time. If I remember, let's do a random act of kindness drawing. So, but you have to have commented. So I've got Dana Lett, private message me your mailing address. I'll get you happy mail. Please do a random act of kindness for someone. So I will be doing, if I remember, I'll do one in the middle and I'll do one at the end. Okay, so I just send out a little happy mail, but I ask that you do a random act of kindness for someone. It doesn't have to cost you anything to do that, you know. It could be a phone call, just helping somebody in a grocery store, trying to reach a top aisle, offering to take a cart back. There's so many things when you go to a store that you could do. Okay, so got the hat and the soap and the mitten down here. Oh, and I do want to, I'm doing the bag this color too, but I am going to lighten it up as I go. Thank you, Susie. I love this snowman too. I love it. Okay, like I said, I'm going to paint on this bag too. There's like a trim on the bag, like right there. I'm going to leave that because we're going to paint that a different color. We're going to match that up to the nose. I apologize that these get long. That's out of my control. I do keep talking and working at the same time. Okay, Dana, so if they're still out there for that $14.98, that's what I would have spent for it. I hope so, Sandra. I hope you all like it. Yes, there is a boy snowman too, but you know, to me, when I look at this could be a boy or girl. Honestly, you could do the other one as a girl too, because you could just use pinks. And I did not grab that one because this one, I actually wasn't going to grab a snowman. But then I saw all the texture in this hat. It was like in the back. And I saw this one and then I'm like, oh, I knew I had to grab it. It's okay, Kat. Debbie had a snowman at this time of year too. Okay, so again, you just want light coats and dry them in between, otherwise you're pushing the paint around. That doesn't help. Then you got a mess going on. Oh, that's awesome, Dina. Perfect. Perfect. Yep, so just private message me your mailing address. Dana, that's amazing. I think the ones that have followed me for a while know this, but if you haven't followed me for a while, the elderly are near and dear to my heart. Of course, because I had elderly parents. My mom just died last year, But they go through so much. And my mom was in an assisted living for 3 years prior to her death. My dad really was not healthy for quite a few years. And it just, I work also then with an elder law attorney. So I'm a paralegal and I work with an elder law attorney. So I love our clients. I love helping them. Some of them just need people to advocate for them and, just guidance. And, people tell me at work that I'm so good with them because I'll quip with them. I'm not that way. I will have fun with them. Even it could be the crabbiest person. My challenge is to get them smiling. And my hands. You just talk to them like you would want. I always said I talk to them the way I want people to have talked to my mom or my dad. It's a matter of respect, and it doesn't matter if they get crabby. Or they just might be sad. You don't know what they're going through. So, yeah, they're elderly are near and dear to my heart. So being in the elderly community and you helping them, Dana, is awesome. Welcome, Shelley. You are absent. Oh, welcome, Shelley. Newbie, thank you for welcoming her. I agree, Kathy. They need extra love. Like I said, sometimes, that's just them. And that's just them. And it's like a challenge. It's like, I'm going to get you to smile. And I mean, there's been several, but there was one that was just so ornery. And I got him smiling. And I just gave it right back to him. And made it as fun, and he was fine. And you do well when they ask for you the next time to help them. You might be going like, oh no about it, but it's all good. Like I said, some people just need advocate and advice. My mom and dad, I don't know what they do. I mean, if my brother and I weren't there to advocate for them when they needed it. Okay. So you can see on this mitten here, let's see if I can get you to see that. Maybe you can't see it. There. On this mitten here, it's moving the paint around some because obviously it wasn't that dry. So that's what I was meaning by you might have to, do the thin coats and make sure it's really dry before you do your next coat. Yep, Debbie, and I just said that now again. You let it dry between coats, this paint, because otherwise when you go back and paint again over it, if it's wet, you're just pushing that other paint around. It ends up picking up some of the stuff that's adhered. You just really want to let it dry. And, dry it. That's why I dry in between the coats with my dryer here. It's not as bad up on this hat, and it'll take a lot to dry this hat just because of all the texture. But on that scarf where it's so smooth, it definitely needs to be dried. And I'm not going to be as picky on this hat because we are adding other color up here. And the wax will help cover the rest. I just don't want to drop it. That's what I'm afraid of right now, because I think they're very fragile probably. Then I'd have to show you my finished one. And because of these textures too, as you move it in different directions up here, you see where there's white showing. That's just pretty. Aw, Judy. So sweet. And I absolutely would have for my mom. I just couldn't. I worked. So, you know, but, you know, you talk to her every day when she was in there, and she made the decision, and it was unsafe for her. She was falling more. She made the decision, and it actually was the decision made, and she fell that day right away, and ended up in the hospital. So we needed to find a place. But I hunted so many places that day because I wasn't just going to go in any place for my mom. And the place we found was wonderful for her. It was small. She was not a big social person. That was hard for her. She was uncomfortable with that. But we found the perfect place, and most of the workers were wonderful, and I'm still friends with some of them. And they were there to the end. That's so sweet. See, that's why elderly are near dear. Okay, I do have to give one more coat so you can see the streaking. I want it really nice. I'm not going to coat this bag again. That's going to end up to be a different color. So I'll only have to give it one coat of the other color. And this honestly is going to look a lot different when I start adding on the highlights and the shadowing. It's going to look a lot different, but it's going to be easy. You'll be able to do it. And then once we get that wax on there, that's where he'll come to life. Yes, it's so pretty. Oh my God, I'm getting it up on the face. That's okay. I'll just touch that up. It doesn't take much to touch up. Lois, I can put a link when I bring out that brush for on the cheeks, and I'll actually be using multiple of those brushes today on here because of all the texture. I'm going to use more than just that brush on the cheek. Okay, so, and I'll pull up, I got them from Amazon, so I can pull it up and I'll drop out an affiliate link when I use them. Okay, yeah, 3 coats will do it for this color. Not every, if you end up painting it black or something like that, you won't need 3 coats, but this color needed it. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly do it on this hat again. I don't have to be as picky on here. So if you guys like what you see, please let others know. I am so close to 62,000 friends. That just has amazed me. It wasn't too long ago that I had 60 and I was just beside myself. I mean, who would think? So, and if you're new, make sure you're saying hi. I have a lot of people on here that'll welcome you. Yeah, Kathy, I do. You're welcome, Lois. Yeah, you might have to remind me. You might have to remind me, but I'll put the link for those brushes. They work awesome. They honestly work awesome. Yeah, this coat doesn't have to be as much. Okay. I'm just going to go in and coat right away that bag. So let's see. I think I'm going to use Fawn. So I'm going to use DecoArt Fawn. Actually, we're going to use, yeah, we'll use this Fawn, I think. I'm sorry that I changed my mind in here. Actually, we're going to use this Cocoa, DecoArt Cocoa for the bag. I did have a burlap color out because I thought I would use that, but it didn't, I didn't like it as it was too light. It was too light. It's not that I didn't like it. It was too light. It wasn't like the burlap color that I pictured. Okay, and I'm just going to do one coat on here. This isn't even the coat I used, the kind I used either, but it'll work. Yeah, I don't, you know what, I'm going to dry it up. I need a lighter color. Kathy, the hat color is the same as the scarf. It's Anitas. It's Anitas, and it's smoky, Woodsy smoke. Woodsy smoke. I'm just gonna lighten this up. I'm changing the bag color. We're going to use Fawn. It's DecoArt Fawn. I got a sew on my thumb. You know what I did yesterday? I closed my finger on a car door. I just pulled it just as it was closing, so it caught, and I pulled it fast enough that it came out, but it was bruised last night. Now today I don't see it bruised. I have something I feel like I have a cut on my thumb. All right, we're gonna go back on here. I'm gonna change this color out. There we go. I like that better. This color is Fawn, DecoArt Fawn. It'll definitely darken up again when we add the wax, and I'm gonna put just some little decorative accents on it. I did try using, some texture medium and stuff last night when I was just playing on a plate to maybe make it look like a burlap. And, you know, it was okay. It was okay, but I think I really like this better. I did even take burlap and try laying burlap on there and try pouncing a brush on there to get some of that look. You could just use a brush and pounce, you know, the paint, let it thicker. You could do that too if you want more texture on there. But I do like how it looks when we're done. All right, so we've got that. Let me just dry it a little, and we're going to start on the tree. I'm going to do the tree and then the holly. No, Tara, this is from Hobby Lobby. I did a live this weekend from there. Kathy. Colors of your flannel shirt flannel increase on my uniform. See, and I love these colors. This is if I could wear this every day, I would. It's me. So I'm sort of using the colors in the Snowman. Okay, so we'll just let that gel up a little bit. Let's do the tree. So the tree color that I'm using is Avocado, DecoArt Avocado. Yes, Hobby Lobby has Anitas, DecoArt, Folk Art. It has all of them. But you can get Folk Art now at Walmart too. Folk Art and Apple Barrel. I'm not as big of a fan of Apple Barrel except for a few of their colors. They're red, Tuscan red, I'm in love with. There's a few colors I have of Apple Barrel. See, I always have my Tuscan red on the table. I don't even know that. Oh, I am using it. I am using it. All right, so now we're doing the tree. I keep going back to the same brush. It works. I could use a little bigger maybe. A little bit bigger. First I started with the Santa, and now hearing your heart for the elderly makes me like you more. Aw, Gail. Ultimate patience. Bless you. Oh my gosh, that gives me chills. They do play back you. Okay, I can't read it all, but Gail, bless you. And to work with Alzheimer's patients. Oh, my dad had been diagnosed with quick onset dementia, which it was quick onset Alzheimer's is what they were saying. So he was diagnosed. So whenever anything traumatic would happen, his mind would just be gone. And there was like a very bad incident that happened with my mom when they were in a restaurant. She actually passed out in the restaurant, and his mind just went. He just sat there and ate. And they went in this restaurant all the time, thankfully, that they knew them. And somebody came by, then one of the waitresses, and asked, "Is your wife okay?" Because my mom was passed out. And my dad said, "Yeah, I think she passed out." But that's all he could say. So they got the ambulance there and stuff. He actually got in the car and drove to the hospital. And he was going to leave. I ended up getting a call then, and he was going to leave, and the pastoral council called me worried about him too, and he fell in the parking lot. They traveled from floor to floor to floor in the hospital because he couldn't be by himself. He was not behaving. So she'd be in the room next door, out to him. And then they ended up in rehab together, side by side in different rooms. It was actually sort of comical. Because he wouldn't behave and she'd be hollering at him, and he didn't. Sometimes he maybe did it on his own fault or on purpose. Sometimes maybe not, but that was him. You never knew. So yeah, and I was so happy that when my dad did pass, like I said, he hadn't been healthy for quite a few years. And I just didn't want him to get a point where he didn't know us. I mean, there were once in a while where you weren't sure, or he always talked about us kids that were playing upstairs at their house. Well, us kids weren't there. We were big. But I was thankful that he didn't have to go through more of that yet, besides all his health issues. And he wasn't a mobile person, so he had lost a lot of his muscle over the last number of years. So we didn't have to worry about him disappearing. We did worry about the falling though. Dana, since my Santa went viral, I think I've gained about 2,500 followers. I wanted to hit 60,000 was my goal by the end of this year. And sometimes it takes like months and months to get 1,000 or even sometimes hundreds. I mean, you never know. And you lose some, you gain some. And then also when I posted those pictures, it just went, and I hit the 60,000 right away, and within a couple of days I hit 61,000. So now it's probably about 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later from when I hit that. Oh, I got green then. Before I started this live, I looked, and I'm like 75 away from 62,000. So I'm so blessed. Okay, isn't that the prettiest color? And Cash was waving his tail. Cash, do you want to come say hi? I was ignoring him. I'm trying to make sure I don't drop this. Cash, do you want to come say hi? He doesn't want to leave Larry's sight now. They just got back. Say hi. This is our Cash if you're new. Cash comes on, but when Larry's around, he wants Larry. Can you look up here? Hey, can you look up here? Yeah. Yes. So he's always afraid to leave. That Larry's gonna leave him here alone with me. All right. Okay, now I'm just painting these. Okay, I'm gonna go to my smaller angle brush to paint these holly leaves because I can get right in on these edges, right down in those edges because these stick up. It's like clay on top of there. I can get right down in those edges with this angle brush just by setting it down in there. And it's okay if you get a little green again, wandering onto the snowman. We can touch that up. Oh gosh, Kathy. Yeah, you don't want people to go through that. It's out of our hands though. It's up to God. You're just happy when they're done going through things like that. You're happy for them, and you're happy that you don't have to watch them suffer anymore. Okay, so I'm just getting like right in on all those leaves. And I'm going right up to getting those side edges. I think by the time I'm done with this, that tree is going to be dry and I'll be able to go back on the tree. Did you hear that noise? That's Cash laying down. Oh, Lisa, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It is dreadful. It honestly is. You know, and then there's the ones that you have to be so afraid because they're mobile. Like I said, my dad wasn't mobile anymore. You didn't have to be afraid of him wandering because if he would have wandered, we lived on a property that had a river on 3 sides. We would have had to be afraid of that or driving because he loved his property. He loved being outside working. We would have to worry where to find him. There you go, Kathy. Kathy McCormick is on here promoting our Crafty Servings crafting page. She is my administrator, and I forget to mention it. Please, if you made a Santa or anything else, honestly, go to Crafty Servings Crafting Club. It's a free group page that you can post your pictures of what you made. You can't sell on there, okay? That's the only thing, is you can't sell. Somebody might message you though or something, that's fine. But you can't just promote yourself on there. But you can definitely post pictures. All right. I'm just going to give it one more coat of this green. We're getting there. You just want to make sure all of the white is covered. Once we have it all base coated, then we just add some highlights and some shadowing. That really makes it come out. And then the waxing is the final step. You know what? This one has a tiny little hole at the end of that one branch. Just a tiny one. But like I said, I think these are very fragile. You have to be careful with them. This is the prettiest green. The brand of brushes that I like best, these kind of brushes, there's not a brand. These, honestly, I think I got from Temu. They're Kim Beeman, B-E-Bo. I'm a fan of one of this. I don't have a very specific brand for these kind of brushes, but I will post a link when I start doing the shading with the scrubbing brushes. I'll post an affiliate link for them, okay, when I start in that part. And then for the, you know, I used to buy all the time from Walmart, and once in a while, I think it's the Royal and Nickel something on that order. But sometimes I end up, depending what you're doing, the better quality brush really gives you the best quality. So when Hobby Lobby has sales on their brushes, sometimes I'll grab a couple depending upon what, you know, what I'm getting bad on. I love these angle brushes. I just love them. I use them a lot. Even I use them for shading, but I use them for things like this too. Just make sure you get underneath. I'm just seeing here. I see some really bright white under some of these. Okay, I think I got all that. I'm gonna give one more coat on here. Dana, I know I've seen you on other pages. You know that you are, you know who you remind me of? Because the person that you remind me of, I was so in love with, because she was the most generous, kindest creator, and she was a follower of many of ours before she became a creator herself, or we were trying to convince her, is Sherry Wilson. Because you do go on and you're commenting and answering and sharing links, and you know, I've seen you do that on other pages, so that's who you're reminding me of. And she was such a dear person, so that's all compliment, Dana. I have so many sweet ones on here. Like I said, my moderator on here, Kathy, she has helped me so much with with my cocktail servings page and just supporting on other things and my other pages, my group, my fabric creation pages. And just there's so many of you that I see so much that I love talking with you all. You're welcome, Marsha. I'm just going to dry this up a little and we're going to go on another color. We're getting to a point where we're going to be able to start your highlighting. Just got to get everything based in. Okay. So the next color I'm going to use is the Tuscan red, the apple barrel Tuscan red. It's a nice deep dark red. Gosh, like a cut on my thumb. You just need a little dab because we're just doing this on these berries down here. And you know what? If you get some outside of the berries, it's okay. It doesn't matter. You'll see it when I show you my other one. It's okay. They're not meant to be perfect. Isn't that such a pretty red? Let's just try that real quick and just do that last red because that's the only red that I use. That's right, Rhonda. Exactly. Yes, Pat. That is never a bad thing when somebody compares you to her. We were all so glad when she started her own. There were many of us that were encouraging her. Even after she started her own, she was still everybody's best advocate. All right, let's get the nose. So the nose, I'm mixing two colors. I was going to use just this apricot, but it's so bright. So I'm adding a little bit of marigold. So it was apricot from Anitas, and I thought that would look really nice, but it actually was bright. So, and then the DecoArt marigold. Larry wants to come say hi. You all want to say hi to him? Okay, so I'm just mixing the two of them. And it makes a really pretty color. Is creating something you always enjoy doing or something that came to you later? I always loved it, but I did not start and as the kids grew up, you know, I did before the kids and when they were young, but then when they start their activities, they start all that, you get away from it. And then after the kids grew up, and gone on, honestly, I started my page in 2019. Several of us started at the same time. And we would go on each other's lives. And like I said, we're these little people, and we still are these little people as far as I feel. You know, this is nothing compared to, there's people like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 people. So to get to that is just humbling, I think, to get to each. Honestly, first you're looking at your first hundreds, then it starts going to thousands, and every single milestone is just amazing. So, but I had always done, I never did craft shows or anything like that. And to do it live on here was terrifying. But I mean, I had support of family. They all knew I loved doing it. So, yeah, so I've been on here since 2019. And I tell you, when I went live, first time I went live, I went sideways. Or second time maybe, when I went live, I went sideways. You do what you have to do. You know he loves you. That's right. Even though Larry doesn't want to come on and say that he does, he does. All right, so I'm using the same color. Isn't that pretty? I'm using the same color on this trim down here. It's gonna pop when we do it. I debated on using it on there, but I don't think I'm going to. I mean, you could do it up on there just to pull it all together, but I don't think I'm going to. I hope so, Jeanette. I hope so. The thing I'm most nervous about is the mouth. I'm most nervous about the mouth. Yeah, when you're working on this kind of stuff, like especially like when you're working with the nose or the tips of the trees, that has like a run on it. Be very careful because it is very, very delicate. I'm afraid I'm going to snap off the nose when I'm working on it. Very afraid of that. It's really pretty. Okay, I need to dry this up, and I have like a run on this tree. I hope it doesn't. Thank you, Mitzi. I appreciate it. Mitzi is the one who had the most amazing eyes on her Santa Claus. Right, Mitzi? That was you. The most amazing eyes. I did do the lashes after when she had them. I did the lashes, but the eyeballs, the pupils themselves were beautiful. Mitzi, if you want to post your picture again, go over and Crafty Servings Crafting Club. Post that, and anybody who wants to see her eyes on her Santa were gorgeous. Thank you, Denise. I'm glad you found me too. Okay. All right, we're getting there. Okay, we're gonna do a little highlighting before I do the cheeks, I think. So I'm using the Cocoa Brown, DecoArt Cocoa Brown for highlighting on the snowman itself. I'm just doing along the curves like that. Yes, Mitzi, please do that. Her eyes are beautiful. Yeah, people ask me when I posted a picture, did you do something different with your eyes? You know what? I think I have to touch this up first. And I said, well, I added eyelashes, but you need to check out Mitzi's. Mitzi's eyes. Okay, I just wanted to touch up because I have quite a bit of brown up on here. Kathy and Kathy, that would be amazing. Well, like Beth from Rekindle Blessing, she just had an event and stuff. They do events in different places. I wouldn't even know how to begin to do something like that. I wouldn't even have a clue. It would be so much fun, but I just have no clue. No clue. And how hard it is and exhausting it has to be. Is this the brush I was using? Okay, and I'm going to put a little around the nose too. Okay, and I'm going to put just a little under where the eyes will be. Eyes will be easy. There is a little spot for the eyes in here. They'll be easy. I'm just putting a little bit under where the eyes would be. I put it under the nose. I think that's... just under the mouth a little. Okay, got that on there. Now we're gonna move into doing it. I really use a bigger brush now. Just do it on the body. Oh, I got green on here. I can say they wipe it off good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're waxing over it. And so that's going to honestly darken all that up. Again, this is DecoArt Cocoa Brown that I'm using. Just putting it anywhere where there'd be shadows. It looks really orange. You can use other colors though too, whatever you have. If you can't find this color, you could also use like a honey brown or any kind of light brown. So it actually looks a little yellow or orange. So in here. I'm not going to add right along here, and I'm not painting on there because we're going to add some for that. Okay, and I'm just doing around these branches a little bit. Hello, Tammy. Okay, and it's not perfect. See how, I mean, it's not perfect. You just get it in places where you think there could be some shadows. All right. I'm gonna do it around, just a smaller brush. Do it around the buttons too. Or the coal, whatever it is here. It's okay if it gets up on top because we're going to be putting black on top of there. Okay. Let's try this up and then we'll add the cheeks on. And then start doing some of the highlighting and the dark. And I added the dark when I add the dark on. I love that look. Add a little more by these berries. I see white in there. Okay, so let's do the cheeks. This is where, okay, I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to get you that link for the brushes I'm going to use. Should be able to find them pretty easily. Okay. All right, here they are. And you can get them like in a 4-pack, a 8-pack, or a 12-pack. And I'm going to pin them on here. What do we call these? Like shading. I'll just call them shading brushes affiliate. You know what? For the scrubbing brushes. Okay, and then we'll try and pin that. Hello, Jeannie. You didn't miss me. All right, let me pin that. Okay, so those are the scrubbing brushes that I use now for the shading. I need to just touch up a little. Get a little bit of green up. And that's why I say if you get a little messy, you can always touch it up. I mean, it's okay if there's some there. Okay, so what am I gonna do next? All right, we're gonna we're gonna do the dark brown. Let's just take this aside. And we're gonna add a lot of dark brown on here. So the dark brown I'm using is Home Decor chalk. It's called Java. Hello, Amanda. You're welcome, Lois. You really have to shake this because you get otherwise if it doesn't get mixed well, you end up with variegated color, which I sort of got right here. Oh, you can see it's two colors. I'm just gonna stir that in. That's a really dark brown. That's one of my favorites. Hello, Ashton. Okay, so this is where I said you're not going to see as much of this color because we are going to take that Java. First, I'm going to end up painting it underneath here as if it's a shadow. Isn't that a pretty color? Can you see that? So pretty. And I'm not really like doing this as a low light kind of thing. You know, like how I blend things. I'm not even really doing that with this just because I really like this color. But I am doing it on like the tops and the bottom here. And if you want, you can wet your brush then and maybe just blend it a little bit. Then we're going to do that on the sides of the scarf too, or on the front ties. We're going to get it in this little groove on this scarf. And I'm going to get it down in these little grooves on the edges of the scarf. Get carried away and get it on my and thank you. Yeah, Jeannie, you'll love them. And I said, you'll see how I use them today. If those haven't seen me use them before, you'll see how I use them. This dark brown is just so pretty with this. It adds so much. And you don't have to be perfect with it. And I'm just blending it out, wetting the brush a little if I need to. Okay, and we're gonna go around the mittens too. It's just such a beautiful color. Wait till you see it on the hat too. It's gonna be so pretty. Okay, I think we're gonna just add a little more here. You can just see how that dark brown comes out on there. Okay, we're gonna start working on the hat now. Okay. I'm gonna paint all of this, the dark brown underneath here. Just like it's a shadow. Okay, and then I'm going to add it along the top edge of this. And you see where I'm leaving a little bit of that. I'm not doing it right on top. We're actually going to add some lighter on there too. Yeah, Jeannie, you might find them at other ones. That's right. I said, just be gentle when you're doing this so it doesn't break. I'm so afraid I'm going to break this, especially during a live. Look at how that looks. Okay, and I mean, you're not going to see all of that yet. Okay, and then we're going to do this top edge here. All right, then, so the next thing is you can see the grooves. I'm not going to go down the middle of like, it looks like knit stitches. I'm going to go down in between those rows just with the brush. I mean, I'm not being picky with it. Just going between the rows like that. I'm going to do that all the way around. You end up in a row you're not supposed to. It's okay. You're not going to notice. Thank you, Missy. Ooh, Kathy, that sounds like pretty colors. I bet you they're all warm colors. Okay, in the back, these lines get a little skinnier. I said, if you end up going in between somewhere, don't worry about it. Where it wasn't meant to be, you're not going to notice it. Especially once we get the wax on here. Okay. See that dark all the way around? Maybe we'll just do it on a couple here. I don't think you really need to do it on a couple, but Larry says hi, by the way.
Kinda.
He's sitting there saying, what?
Kinda.
Okay. It's not pretty. That's so pretty. Okay. We're getting there. Okay. Let's do, now we're going to do the cheeks. I think that's what I was going to do before, right? Before when I put that scrubbing brush link. Okay, so we are going to use multiple. The cheeks, I'm just going to use a little one like this. They came, I think there's 4 sizes in the pack. I think it's a 4-pack. And clean them out really good when you're done. Honestly, I use, like, I'll put them in the water, and then I'll use that Dawn Power Wash and let them soak in there just for a little bit and wipe it, and they stay nice and soft. All right, so the color I'm going to use is Vintage Pink, DecoArt Vintage Pink. Ooh, Angela, basket, nice. Hello, Valerie. When he's teasing me, yeah. I could say some things too. Okay, so I'm just going to dip in that pink. Isn't that pretty? It's a pretty color. Now, I used to use blush a lot of times, but I'm getting better with paint. And if you use blush on here and put the dark wax on top, it's not going to stay. Okay, and I always like the soft color for the cheeks, but I'm liking it a little bit brighter. So we're just going to blend it. But I wipe it on my hand too because that helps. I can see if there's any big spots. So I don't get a big blotch of paint all of a sudden, but you just keep blending. If you need to add more, you can add more. But it just makes it really nice and soft. The quiet guy, I'm supposed to say hi to. He's trying to take a nap. No. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I think I got a lot of brown on me from this hat. Let's just dry that up. I think maybe let's do the eyes next and the mouth. The mouth maybe, I was debating on doing how I was going to do the mouth. I used a brush on mine last night, but not everybody is comfortable using a brush. So I've got some markers out here I can show you. And I hope the one marker I picked out works good. You just have to make sure if you ever use a marker, and these aren't paint markers, these are permanent ink markers. They have to be permanent if you're doing something like this. Okay, let's just work on the eyes. And what I'm using is a stylus. You get these like I think in the scrapbooking area almost. I've had these for so many years, probably 20 years. And one of them is missing. I have no idea where it ever went. This is what I'm going to use for the eyes, I should say. Because the mouth, I said I'm going to use something different. So I'm using this for the eyes, and I'm just using a lamp black. DecoArt lamp black. You can use any black. Just tell me, Rita, just she can paint all over herself. It just washes off. It just washes off. Not a problem. All right. right, so I'm just using this. I'm gonna see if it's the right size. So there are indentations in here, you can see. I'm just gonna dip this in that black paint and just do it up and down in that indentation and fill that in. That's all I'm doing. You could use a toothpick. I'm just filling in that indentation. Easiest way to do. Now it's the mouth that you, if you're not used to using brushes, I do have in here, so this is a pack I gotten at Hobby Lobby, I don't know, probably a couple months ago. It's artist pens and there's different sizes. There's like a 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and then there's a brush one. A lot of the brush markers get wider where this one doesn't. I did try drawing with this, so I think we can do this on the mouth and it'll work, but you have to make sure that it's permanent. Let me just, yeah, so this isn't one of the soft brushes that it really presses down a lot. Okay, we're gonna just try this. Let's make sure those cheeks are dry. And I'll see how this works. Like I said, if you're good with brushes, go ahead and do that. And that's what I used last year was a brush. But I'm trying to figure out a way that's easier without a brush for y'all. I'm getting a puppy, Kathy, and what's its name? Vicky. Oh, that was so nice of her to let her sisters help. Okay, this also has indentations in. Okay, so it actually is working pretty good. I'm just going to try and follow the indentation. It actually is working really well, y'all. And you know what? If you make a mistake, you paint over it. That did turn out pretty good. I'm afraid I'm going to do too much on it. And yeah, I'm just going to let it the way it is. Thank you. That's actually hilarious. So if you're looking for a paint like these, I mean, I've used these markers before too on here also. They are permanent. They're India ink is what they're called. They're Faber-Castell. It says 4-pit artist brushes. So these were from Hobby Lobby, and they have like a small, fine, medium, and then they have that brush tip that I just used. The brush isn't like some of the bigger ones you get that have brush tip. It isn't like that, but that actually turned out pretty cute. And once we put on the aging, it's just gonna look really cute. All right, so let's start doing a little more. We're going to add on, we're gonna use this wild wasabi for folk art. Folk art wild wasabi. We're gonna use a blending brush again. I'm using a little bigger one. I'm not taking as much off, and we're just going to brush that on the tips. Hello, darling. Oh, we'll do one more. We'll do another random act of kindness drawing in just a minute. So get commenting. I only will choose names that are commenting, and I know some of you are silent watchers. I apologize that I do that. The comments honestly help our page go farther though too, that Facebook likes to send that out. Isn't that pretty? Just adds that little something. We're gonna brush it on in here too. More. It doesn't, again, have to be perfect. This is a rustic one, you know. Okay, that's all we're going to do in there. Let's just brighten up a few of these a little more. Right on the tips. So as it dries, it got lighter. I just want it a little brighter. You mean these? Karen, are you at? No, who was asking about the dot making pens? These are styluses. They're not even pens. They're like a metal stylus. You can use a toothpick or something like that. You get these like in, I think it's probably in the scrapbook section. I've had them for so many years, but they're called styluses. And sometimes you can just get one or two in a pack. This, I'm missing one of mine. I don't know, but mine have different sizes on both sides. So, yeah, that's what I use for mine. Okay. So we got that. Now we're going to start doing the hat. That's where it's really going to show up. Should we do the hat first? I'm trying to think if I have to put... No, we're going to... let's do some little lines on here first. So I'm going to use Cloudy Day, Folk Art Cloudy Day, because I want it all muted, but I wanted to add just a little other color in here. Hello, Carol. Thank you. All right, so and we're just going to use a fine brush and if it's a little thick, you just need a little water on it. Okay, and I'm just going to draw lines. Doesn't have to be perfect. Oops. Back to Hobby Lobby. They're used to seeing me there. That's like a once a week for sure trip. And I actually have two of them not far from me. So I was in a different one on Saturday, the other one, where I got these from. Oh, let's do that drawing. Okay, if I just see that is watching, that's not a comment. Jean Brock, private message me your mailing address. I'll get you happy mail. Please do a random act of kindness for someone. And I don't know that I ever do anything really correctly. I just do what I do. All right, so we got that. Then I'm going to take, let's see, do I want to do blending first? All right, we're going to start doing a little bit of, I'm going to use the Almondine. So DecoArt Almondine. Some people have been having problems finding this, they said. You can go to the DecoArt website and order it. If you go to Amazon, it's expensive on there. So I don't know. So it may be that they don't make this one anymore, but it's like an off-white, like a light kind of beige, very light beige is what it is. Okay, and we're going to take that and we're just going to draw some lines on here. This is the, like that bag. Like I said, you could probably add burlap on here. You could do texture on here. I'm just going to do it the opposite way. Okay, I think I did use a little of that red, so I'm going to use a little of that Tuscan red. Where did that go? Just to add a little color in the scarf to a little more color, but not bright. I'm just going to do a little line next to all the other lines. Just adding just a hint of color. We're almost ready. We're almost ready to do the antiquing, but I still have to, the hat, wait till you see the hat. We gotta work on the hat yet. It don't take long, but we gotta work on that. Okay, so we just added that little bit of color in there. Okay, I'm gonna dry that out. We're getting there. Yeah, and Jeannie, and that's not what I use today on here. It's just I'm using it for highlighting. But yeah, on the Santa faces, I love it too. I do love it. Okay, so we're gonna get another brush, one of those scrubbing brushes again, but I don't want to use a wet one. We're gonna use a dry one, and I want one a little bigger. Okay, so we're just dipping in that Almondine. Okay, and I'm gonna. I should wipe it on here first. Okay, so you want it pretty dry, but this is where, look at that. And then we're gonna do, I just wanna see how I did on that one, okay. Then we're gonna do some of these front ones. Isn't that cool? That looks so cool. I'm not going all the way around with it. You could, but to me, you know, that would be darker back there. So I guess you could. Maybe just not as bright. Just gonna get a little bit brighter yet on some of this. Okay, and then we're going to use some of this also on the scarf. Just a little bit of highlighting places on the mitten, this mitten. No, there yet. Just gonna put it in here. Scarf. Alright, so I think that's all we need to do on, oh, you know what? Let's do the buttons. I'm doing them with black. And then we'll do a little scrubbing on there too. So this is that lamp black again. How many are going to go get one of these snowmen from Hobby Lobby? You just picked up the last two, Chris? Thank you, Jenny. I will be downloading this and putting it over on my YouTube channel just because it's easier for people to watch back over there. And after 30 days, it disappears from Facebook. Marsha, thank you. Wait till I add the aging wax on, antiquing wax. Then he's gonna pop. Well, he's gonna look older. That's what I like. There you go, Chris. Okay, so I'm just going to use that same brush and just do a little bit of that white, that vintage white. Mabry, that's for you. Put it on there. Okay, all right, I think that's all the scruffing I have to do, but now we're gonna take this skinny brush again. Where's my good skinny brush? Here we go. Oh, I'm gonna do some little dots on the tree too. Where did my little skinny brush go? Did y'all see it? Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna get this out so I don't forget this. I'm gonna take one of those styluses again. You can use a toothpick, and I'm gonna dip in that Almondine also, and just do little dots, like maybe like snow dots. You can splatter this whole thing if you want to do the splattering. You could do colored dots on here if you want, but I wanted to keep this more neutral. So we just added some little dots on there. Judy, you are not back in the hospital. Sending you prayers again, Judy. Judy. I hope you're doing okay. Thank you, Tracy. All right, so what was I going to do? Oh, I know. Now we're going to take our skinny long brush. I just lost again. There it is. And we're going to dip in that Almondine again. And you can even water it down a little. I'm just going to be doing like little, like maybe some lines in places. Line on the top of his mitten here. Top of his mitten there. And we're just gonna add some sporadic lines like that. I know too. We have to put a little dry brushing on here. I got another one of these. Well, I'm thinking it's the favorite place for you to be because you're always there, Judy. You need to stop that. You need to stop that. Okay, I'm just going to do is see the scarf there and do a little on the scarf. And that brings that out. We're going to put fur here. Oh, I know too. Okay. We're going to put fur there. We're going to do using the Almondine again. I want to put little lines on the buttons. I'm going to put a little dot on each one of these. On the little berries. Okay, I pinned, look for that pin, Debbie. I pinned a link to the brushes that I use for that scruffing. Those are my blending brushes that I use. I use them all the time. Love them. So I pinned it. If you don't see it, let me know. All right, I think we are ready to age them on. Everything has to be really dry though. We're gonna age them and then add the fur and a button. Just make sure everything is extra dry. Oh, I know. I need a little more dot. I don't know if you even see it, but I put a little dot up on the cheek. On that white part of the cheek, I'll put one out here too. I don't want to put one on the eyes because I'm afraid it'll look creepy. You're welcome, Debbie. All right, almost ready for the aging now. So just little tiny, can you see those little specks, like almost like freckles on the. Now it's gonna come out, adding that wax. Okay, let's get this out of our way. I'm gonna get some of these colors out of our way. Just clear up a spot. Okay, do you want to see the difference between before wax and after wax? And you guys can take a screenshot. If somebody takes a screenshot, you want to send it to me? Or I think I did take a picture though. Maybe I didn't. Okay, you want to see the difference? I'll show you my finished one. And that's what we're going to do now. So this is aged. And this is before the aging. Okay, so that's the difference. You want a screenshot if you want to see it. That's the difference. That's what I did last night, was that one. All right, we're gonna, and you have to be gentle with this because you don't want to break off the nose or a tip of a tree or anything like that. Okay, I'm looking for my wax. Okay. So the wax I use, and you could use others, but this is a petroleum base, like it was explained earlier. It's petroleum based. So just a Waverly wax won't work like this, but this is by Behr, B-E-H-R. So you get it at Home Depot. You can probably order it online though too. And it is the dark antique. It's a dark antique. You can't find the link? Okay, let me paste it again because I probably could just paste. Okay, I just pinned it again. That's the link for those brushes that I use. Okay, so this is the antiquing wax. I just use these cheap brushes. I was using another one and scrubbing. I kept reusing it. It hardens in between. When you're using it, it hardens. Like if you do a different project a week later, it'll be hard, but it'll re-soften when you start using it. But now I just started using these cheap. These are like Dollar Tree, those metal. This one may not be specifically Dollar Tree, but it's a cheap kind of brush that you can just scrub it on with. Thank you, Carol. You have a good one. All right, this is the waxing. Get it in all the little nooks and crannies. Again, be careful around the nose, or I'm afraid that would break off if you do it too hard, especially when we're rubbing it off too. Okay, it's under there. Oh, we want to get it right on the nose too. So I do want to, I'm going to take a stylus out too because we might need that, and I'll show you how I use that. But you could use toothpick also. I did, Julie. I did. Okay, so now we're just going to wipe off. You're going to be really careful, like around the nose. You're going to do that gently on there. Now, somebody had asked the question I saw posted earlier on one of my Santas. If you let the wax dry, it doesn't come off. I think if you would use a clear wax and put it on in the same technique and then wipe it off, that might soften, because this brush will darken or will soften after I have it in the wax a little bit. So a clear wax might be the answer for you. Now, if you get it in place as well, I'll show you up there because I know I'll need it up there with that. Okay, so there's the vase. Thank you, Missy. I appreciate that. All right, let's do the scarf. And we're going to go do down in here. And this is where I said I'm going to show you what to do with the stylus if you need to. And this also acts as a sealer. Let's get in here too. It acts as a sealer too. Okay, so now in this spot here, I mean, there's a lot of wax down in there. If there's too much, like I noticed that like with the Santa eyes, what you could do is just lay this paper towel on here and take one of these styluses, which I know I grabbed one. And you can just take that paper towel and just rub that a little bit on that paper towel. And that helps get the extra that you don't necessarily want in there. Okay, so that's how you can get it out of spots like that. You'll see too, like how this changes, like the look of even on this bag, this tree sack here. I'm just gonna do half of it so you can see how that changes just the look of that too. Judy, I don't know. I would think they might. I would think so. I'm not the biggest fan of Michael's though. I don't always find much there. And supposedly they have fabric now, but I'm thinking the one that I have near me probably isn't big enough to even have that. And I hear they're going to more home goods like Hobby Lobby did. So I understand that. I don't understand that. That takes away from the crafting. You can get that kind of stuff like at a Home Goods or TJ Maxx or Walmart. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the difference on that bag. It warms it up a little bit. We're going to just add some more in there. And just be careful with the tree, especially, I mean, I can see there's a little tip broke off at the tip of this tree, at one of these branches. just gradually wipe. Yes, the bare wax is by the paint. You can ask somebody there. You can ask someone there, and this is the dark antiquing. There's also a clear, which like I said, if you don't want to have it antique like this, you could use the clear also as like a sealer. Look how pretty that bag is now. But make sure you get off what you don't want. Okay, now we're going to start going down. On the snowman itself, these leaves. It's just, this is such a pretty color. Mr. Cash is doing fine. He's down here sleeping. Yeah, a spray sealer, absolutely too. I use spray sealers on a lot of things. And I just buy, you can buy them at Hobby Lobby. You can buy them anywhere. At the paint department at a Walmart or in the craft department, they have some. It doesn't have to be an expensive kind, and I love matte. Except for Christmas ornaments, for some reason I like it shiny. Otherwise, I use mostly matte. Okay, we're going to be adding some fur on here yet and a button. Look at it, like even in the grooves of the braid there. I just have to do the hat yet too. That'll be it for the waxing. Definitely, you could use gloves if you want to, though, if you don't want to get that wax all over you. Just clean it up down here, and then we'll do the hat. And that's going to also soften up that color that I put on here, that Almondine. It's going to soften that up. Let me just do part of it here so you can see the difference. So this is the side I did, and it just makes it more pronounced. Oh, I've got a button already, or I got to pick one out, but I know right where it's going, and I know right what kind I want. I'll do a scarf back here. All right, I need to plug my phone in. I told you it would be long. I love the hat. Love the hat. So I can't even show you a before and after other than pictures because I don't have another one. But we're going to just add some fur on and a button. Make sure again you clean up what you don't want on as it's wet. I mean, even now on the face, if there was something on there I didn't want, that might be dry. You might have to, here, let me just, I was going to experiment. If I soften it up with some more wax, if I'll be able to rub more off. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, so somebody had asked that about how to get off if the wax had darkened or had dried and there's more they wanted to get off. You might just want to re-wax it. Okay. Isn't it pretty? All right, let's, now we're going to do the fur and a button and we're going to be done. Yes, Hobby Lobby, thank you. Well, it's in the Christmas section, Julie. It's like where they have other things that you can paint, you know, your nativity. I think each Hobby Lobby probably has them in a different place because I know the two that I go to, they would be in different places. But it was like where you would paint like your nativity sets. There were the in the same aisle as where they had like the tall wood nutcrackers that you could paint. It was in that aisle at this Hobby Lobby. Okay. I'm just going to dry that a little and then it's going to make a difference. And then we're going to add the fur on. It's actually Sherpa is what I'm using. I want to really dry up here because that's where I'm going to put my button. I love the hat. I love this hat. Yeah, mine was at a very bottom shelf too, Chris. It was at the very bottom. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down so it doesn't fall down. And I'm going to get the Sherpa up here. So I'm using Sherpa for the fur on the arm sleeves, but I have to trim it down because it, wait, it's more, because it's, I don't want it to be where it's so thick that it just takes away from everything else. I wanted to just enhance it. So we're going to do a little bit of trimming, shortening that Sherpa. Kelly, thank you. It is a Christmas craft section. It wasn't a Christmas section, but it's like, you know, like in the Hobby Lobby where I was in yesterday, I know it would probably be I know it would be because the two stores are lit up completely different. It's in a different area in the other one, but it's the way where I found it yesterday was like they also had like the big tall nutcrackers you could paint and things like that. They had wood nativities you could paint, that kind of thing. All right. So the Sherpa I'm using, I've used this before. I did this on a Santa, like an old makeover Santa, not like the Santa that everybody's seen. So I'm using this Sherpa, but it's pretty thick, and I'll show you. I'm going to cut a piece off now. I like this edge here. That's actually the edge of where I bought it. And so it's like the side edge, and I like how that comes down. That's what's gonna come down on the mittens. But so I'm just gonna cut, and you want to cut like right under that backing. I need to get more of these. These are the Dollar Tree in the craft section, and the last time I looked, I only have this one sharp one left. They are so good. But last Dollar Tree I went in that I looked for them at didn't have them. They're like my favorite. It's probably plenty. So cut just underneath that backing so that you don't have you're not cutting off the length. You're not cutting off the length of the Sherpa. Like, so now next time I use it, I'm still going to have this length here. It's not like if I would cut just straight, all that would be cut off there. Okay, but so this is the edging. Like, so this was like the side piece, like, because you buy it in the fabric department off the roll. You tell them how much you want. But I'm going to trim this because if I put this on like this, it just sort of looks like a big blob on there. And I don't want that. I don't want it taking away. So I'm going to trim this top so that it's nice and fine and it's just a little thin fur then. You see the difference? This is the side I'm trimming compared to that. I love this on, like I said, there was a Santa I used this on. This was a remake one from St. Vincent. I think it was like yellow. It was like yellow. And I used it on there. I loved it on like that. But on here it's just too much. They had some really pretty, like teal. It wasn't Sherpa. So all the Sherpa I got, though, honestly, was at Joann's. But they had some really pretty teal yesterday it wasn't Sherpa, though. It was like a short nap kind of fur at Hobby Lobby I saw. And it sort of was decorative. It had was sort of like swirls in it. That was pretty. And so something like that wouldn't have been bad. Depending the colors you're using. Okay, that's probably good for all I need. Like I said, I left this edge. This was that side edge because I like that. That's where it's going to wrap around. Hello, Tina. Well, you caught me live now. Yeah, so I just said, Jean, and I think you probably heard me now. This Sherpa was actually I had gotten from Joann's. I have a lot here because I was putting them on all my for my snowman hats and stuff. I used them a lot. Now I'm not making as many because I have the snowman class that people are making their snowmen. It's really cute. So, all right, and I'm just trying to see where to cut that end off here. Cut it a little thinner. I'm just going to wrap around just like that. So I use Beacon 3-in-1 glue all the time. Or Beacon Fabric Tech would be good too. So I'm just going to put it right on the Sherpa itself. Tuck that right in there. Okay, and so like I said, if I used it with the part that isn't trimmed, if I didn't trim it down, it just would look like a big blob there. All right, I'll be doing one more random act of kindness drawing, so make sure you start commenting. I'm almost done. I just got to add this other one and then a button. So start commenting. All right, that's pretty. This one's going to go on here. Aw, sweet Judy. How old is your grandbaby? I'm just going to glue right on the Sherpa again. Thank you, Missy. I wasn't sure. I kept trying to put the fur on and it looked like too much, but then I realized it's just because it was so thick. That's what I didn't like about it. So once I trim it, make it flatter, I really like it now. Okay, now all we have is a button left. Okay. See, cute. Laying him down again. All right, I'm just going to use a little tiny button and I'm going to do a dark one so that I put it up on the hat. It's not going to show much. And then I'm going to use this green string. So I just need a tiny dark button. Just one dark. Thank you, Janice. That one probably will be good. sort of cute as writing on it. It's not as dark. It says Hawk's head. Let me just look. That one is actually really cute. We'll use that one. It's sort of dark. So I told you this would be long. Is it longer than what you expected? I said, you know, when you have to do the multiple layers. Okay. This is just embroidery thread. And I'm using all 6 layers of it. Comes in all different colors. Ooh, Kimberly, that would be a great idea. All right, and I'm just stringing the string through. Oh, wait, wrong one. Did I throw the wrong one in there? I did too. It was perfect. I threw the wrong one in there. It was perfect. Here it is. Goodness. You can do that, Kelly. So I can show you that other one I did. I did post a picture of it. So I have the first one. It was sold, but then she really struggled. She had an issue with scam and her card getting blocked and stuff like that. So ended up where it just didn't sell. So I may end up doing an auction. I don't know how to do it. Auctions make me nervous. Okay, let me just show you this wall. Is that cute? So, and then I have the second one here, and I have the pink one too. But the other one is all wrapped up in a box and ready to go. This one's gonna go right on there. Penny, you can. I'm showing you step by step. I know you can. My fingers are so big sometimes they just get in the way. There. Just gonna hold this on, and with the wax, it's gonna take more to dry it. You've done a lot while you were watching me, Denise. I told you it would be long. Look how perfect that button is on there. Look at how perfect that is. Okay, I think we're done. Thank you, Penny. I appreciate it. All right, here we go. If you want a screenshot, and then we'll do a random act of kindness drawing too. All right, there we go. Isn't it cute? I can show you the back too, in case you want to screenshots for pictures. That hat is. But. All right, let's do random act of kindness drawing. Denise Swinford, private message me your mailing address. I'll get you happy mail. Please do a random act of kindness for someone. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate it. You need a button. Judy, I put a button on 99% of my projects. 99%. But hopefully they only enhance what I do and not take away from what I do is always my plan. But, all All right, there you go again. Thank you, Kimberly. Appreciate it. So I will be downloading this and putting it up on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it back, because it's not always easy to find on Facebook. So it'll be on my YouTube, and the other Santa is on my YouTube. I can show you the one I did then after. So I did, this was the second one I did, which was, people wanted like a pink and, you know, pink and sparkly. So I got that one I did. That one's not as cute as, I like rustic. That's why I like rustic. There's that one. And then this was the third one I did. And this one I posted a picture of. So it's got a little different bow and just a little different coloring. But yeah, I love how that one turned out too. So, and this is on that same concept. So those are definitely heavier weight than what these are at Hobby Lobby. These are real lightweight, and I think would, you know, break even easier than what those will. Those will break too. So thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Susan. Can you do a rundown of the colors you used today? Okay, I've got them all right here, so I can do that. So I used the Bonding Boss. I used white, but you can use clear. You could use, some people had gotten the gray and they just had to paint extra coats, which is fine. I mean, whatever you can find. And it's like a primer. So if you use a different primer, this is what I have and what I use in light, but some people just use other primers. That's fine. But you want something on, because it's a shinier surface, and otherwise your colors don't necessarily adhere well. Vintage white, Folk Art Vintage White for the Snowman. The highlight on his body was DecoArt. Oh, I moved them. DecoArt Cocoa. The tree was DecoArt Avocado. And Folk Art Wild Wasabi. The cheeks was DecoArt Vintage Pink. The red was Tuscan Red Apple Barrel, my favorite red. The nose was a mixture of Anitas Apricot and DecoArt Marigold. I just mixed those two together to tone it down a little bit. The hat base color, the base color of everything was Anita's Woody Smoke. And then on top of here, then I added on Almondine, and Almondine was also used for highlighting. So that's DecoArt Almondine. This Fawn, you know, did I use the Fawn on here? I think I used the Fawn on here underneath. First I did the Woodsy, and then I did the Fawn, I think, on top of it. And then the Almondine went across, okay? Stripes on the scarf. Folk Art Cloudy Day. Thank you, Bloom and Restore. A Folk Art Cloudy Day, and then that Tuscan Red were the stripes. And the Almondine again. The dark brown that I used everywhere was Folk Art Chalk Java. My favorite dark brown. Absolutely my favorite brown. It's so rich looking. Black was DecoArt Black. Use any black. This was lamp black. And then, oh, and that's it. That one I didn't use. Those are my colors. All right. And the antiquing wax I used was Bear Dark Antique Wax. It's from Home Depot. I think you can order it online too if you don't have a Home Depot by you, but use what you have. It's just not a water-based one like Waverly. You can't use that. It has to be one That's petroleum based. Kathy, there's not a reason why I don't care for apple barrel. I think once in a while I came across one that was just really thin and took extra coats, but they have some really pretty colors, and there's no specific reason. And I actually picked up just a couple recently of theirs because the colors were just really pretty. So I think I just had leaned towards DecoArt for a while, because I felt I didn't need to give as many coats sometimes, but it depends upon the color you're using too. Even in DecoArt, sometimes I have to give multiple coats of like a certain color. So it really depends on that. So, all right. Glue I use Beacon 3-in-1, or Beacon Fabric Tack would work exactly the same way. I love that too. So that's it. All right. Thanks all for coming on with me. I warned you it would be a long one, and I was true about that. I knew it would be, but because you have to do multiple layers, that's what it takes. So I have I used Dixie, are you saying Dixie Belle products like the Dixie Belle Bonding Boss? I do, and I know I've got some more on order. I've been getting from Julie at Julie Signs and Designs. So I actually have some more coming in. Is that what the DP, or are you saying primer, Dixie Belle primer? Is that what the P is? The chalk paint, actually have some coming. It's supposed to be here, I don't know, in the next, or tomorrow, I think. I actually have some coming. Oh, good, Denise. I'm glad. So, all right, I'm going to hop off, get this all cleaned up, and thanks for coming on with me. I appreciate it, and hope you love them as much as I do.